This Ramadan, I've been thinking a lot about belief versus identity. For instance, what's the difference between believing in Islam and being a Muslim? At first, one might think there is no difference. But I think belief is more about one's own intellectual, spiritual framework for understanding the world. Belief is more internal and intimate, even more sincere. Belief is about how one interacts with God, the universe, and existence, while identity is about how one interacts with others, people, society. This distinction is important, especially in this identity-focused culture we find ourselves in and contribute to, because it's gotten too easy, too tempting to write off a group of people for their ideas, or to lose one's way without realizing it because one is still leaning, very heavily in fact, on their identity. The line between identity and belief has become too obscured. Of course, my hijab has never been a costume, a cloth meant only to signal to others that I am a Muslim. I wear the hijab because I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the empowerment of modesty. But over time, especially in contexts in which I found myself playing the role of a diplomat, the hijab became more and more of a signal of my cultural status. What bothers me is how my belief was most lacking when my identity was most prominent. In an effort to advocate for the rights of Muslims and build bridges with people who don't understand Islam, I adopted their rhetoric, studied their ways, and emphasized my identity over my beliefs. If I were to emphasize my beliefs, then they'd see how differently we think, and I'd risk alienating them. By emphasizing my identity, I was able to show them how different we fundamentally are, thereby elevating Muslims to the status of vulnerable minority group, something the rest of society should stand up to protect. And here's the thing. Muslims really are a vulnerable minority group in the West. But our faith itself is also vulnerable, and to present Muslims as a culture, almost like more of a race than a group of believers, is to reduce Islam from a comprehensive system of belief and way of perceiving and regarding life to a label that one inherits. Faith should not be inherited. It can't. It must be chosen again and again. I spent my years in graduate school focused more on advocating for Muslims than working with fellow Muslims or actually studying Islam. If we don't believe, then what are we fighting for?